Welcome to Tidbits, part of the Knowing Me podcast. I don't know how many times I've read Genesis 1. I really love the book of Genesis, and I love the stories that are there and the things that it shows us about God. I just was reading the other day, and there's just this phrase stood out to me. In verse 26 of chapter 1, it says, "Then God said, let us make human beings in our image to be like us." So often when I talk about being like Jesus, for example, I will think about Philippians 1:6, where it says that he that began the good work in us will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Or where it says in Romans 8:29 that everybody that he foreknew, he predestined to be made into the image of his Son. Or we could go to 2 Corinthians 3 verse 18 where he says, from glory to glory we're transformed into the image of his Son by his Spirit. And if you go through the New Testament, you always see the reference to be becoming like Jesus Christ, to work out our sanctification, to be able to demonstrate how we are like Christ. But this is the first time it just dawned on me that the purpose of God for yours and my life was not just something that came about because Christ was born and we got saved and we're to be like him. His purpose from the beginning of creation is that we would be like him, that we would love like him, that we would forgive like him, that we would embrace everything like him, that we would respond to him, that we would have this intimate relationship with him just as the Trinity has with itself, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So often we forget this. I forget this, even though I teach it all the time. I forget that his purpose was that we would be like him. How can we become like a person? How do we become more like them all the time? I think of a child or even good friends, and you'll find that after a certain length of time, you will see characteristics or movements or expressions in that child that is like their father or their mother. Lots of times, friends that are together a lot will have some of the same mannerisms. They will have some of the same sayings. They will have the same way of responding to something because it's something that has developed from that friendship or that relationship. And I'm wondering if we do that with God. I'm wondering if we're with him enough so that when people see us, they'll say, oh, she knows God or he knows God because we've been with him. Because that's why he created us, to be like him, to be like the Spirit in the way that we're ministering to others, in the way that we're responding to others, in the way that we are living our lives for others. And I was challenged by that. It isn't about God making me like Jesus. It's about me being like him. It's about me spending time with him. It's about me taking the time to be with him so that when people see me, they will see him. That's the whole purpose of it. That's the whole reason that you and I are saved, is so that people will come to know a holy, loving, gracious, merciful God. That they will see that their sin can be forgiven, their lives can be changed, and that they too can become like Christ. The whole purpose of our existence is to glorify him, is to be like him. And my question for me and for you today is, are we? Am I more like him today than I was yesterday? Will I be more like him tomorrow than I am today? That's my goal, that you would see me, that you would hear me, that you would find in me that essence of God that would glorify his name and draw you to him. And I pray that that would be the essence of your life also, that people would see you, see him, and glorify his name because of what they see in you. Oh, that we could live this life that reflects his love, his mercy, his grace to a dying world, and that they would see in us something of hope and a future and turn to him through the example of our lives and the example of how we live before a holy God in a sin-sick world. Oh, that God would guide us, and that today would be a day in which he would look at you and me and say, well done, because through you the world has seen a little bit of me and has been drawn closer to me. May this be our reality day after day after day for the praise of his glory and for our good. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.